Let's do it. We are live for the first ever Gozilla Media pregame show for the Super Bowl 56. We're going to have a bunch of different people from Gozilla Media join us, and we are kicking it off with the one and only Levack, live from, we're calling it the Inspired Amon Green vehicle. You are live from your vehicle, Amon Green. Go back and watch the interview. There you are. I think you're actually in his car right now.
So, yo, Amon over there. Yeah, no, that way. All right, yeah, we're good. We're on our way to the chiropractor. That's how we do. Getting ready for game day. I'm from an undisclosed location. As a president of anything, you're allowed to go from an undisclosed location anytime you want.
All right, I won't do any follow-ups. I'll ask you this:
because I can't answer, I'd have to kill you. It's a rule. I don't make the rules.
For those who may have missed the podcast coverage this week and the show coverage, go back and watch it. And shame on you! How dare you?
Yeah,
but
we sweat over that.
Yeah, now that it's Super Bowl,
I also sweat over tying my shoes, but whatever.
Now that it's Super Bowl Sunday, how'd you wake up? Did anything change? I feel like that's been a common question for you. I'll probably ask you throughout your show. Has anything changed in your mindset about this game, whether it's players, performances, bet, anything Super Bowl Sunday you were inspired by?
Yeah. Actually, a big change. I'm more confident than ever in my picks. I feel like I don't know whether it was a luck, a genius, a mild stroke, whatever it was that made me pick the Rams to win this whole thing in the beginning of the year was brilliant. It's going to happen. It's going to happen by a lot. Like, we're going to look back over sweating that 4.5, 4, all that. We're going to look back at that and laugh because this game is going to be out of hand. Out of hand. Third quarter, the cream starts to rise. Rams begin to push away the Bengals and put this game away.
Ooh, all right. I like that. Right now, I'm feeling very much like you that this is heading towards blowout city, where this is going to be a double-digit game, and it goes back to the theme I've had that Aaron Donald, Von Miller, who's going to block him. Like, 2 weeks into this, I still have not figured out 2 weeks into it who's going to block those guys. That's it. Simple and easy as that.
And I mean, like, who's the other guy? Is it Leonard Floyd? What the Floyd Little? What was the other guy? There's another guy on the defensive line who's really good, and we don't even talk about him. I think it's Stuart Little, the mouse. It doesn't even matter. Like we're sitting here, we're talking about two guys. Well, there's Jalen Ramsey, and there's all these other great players on that Rams defense that get overshadowed by the greatness of Aaron Donald and the greatness recovered of Von Miller. If we're doing that, there's an off chance that offensive line is doing that, and somebody we're not even talking about is going to be the player that makes the big difference for the Rams. Strip sack, something like that. Poor Joe Burrow has had an amazing season in spite of Max Crosby slapping the hell out of him in the first week of the playoffs. The Titans sacking him 9 times. He was under pressure, in the last game too, and it's just one of those things against the Chiefs. Not as much as he should have been because Chiefs didn't play the right defense, but you got to believe Aaron Donald is just excited to face this offensive line. And it's a quote Negan from The Walking Dead. It's pants pissing time if you're a Bengal offensive lineman.
That's right. I hope somebody says that on the broadcast today. I hope Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth says that in their own pregame show. It's pissing time. One thing that's bothered me about the lead up to this game, and actually it's our pal Rick Stroud over the Tampa Bay Times just tweeted this out. I just retweeted it, and I'm glad he said this because maybe you're feeling the same vibe I am. A lot of people.
Either I lost you or you lost me. I got nothing over here.
Oh. I cannot make that up. My computer. Look at this, Levack. My computer. Look at this.
I thought it was me.
Look at this.
Are you come on. I thought it was me. Everybody who's watching, sitting there watching me look at the screen, move my phone around. Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
How is hold on. Time out. How is that unbelievable that piece of shit computer that you should have got rid of at least 4 years ago? Like, it's not even in one piece. Like, now that you're on it, show the side. The side of the keyboard is completely like open. Look at that. Look at that. There's like Nate over at Mohawk Honda / Chevy, the Mohawk family, who never has a mean thing to say about anything, looked at your computer and went, "That's disgusting." And I'm like, "Nate, you cleaned that computer before." He goes, "Oh my God, we had a troll come out of it." That computer dying is the least, like, that was minus 9,000. to one that computer would die.
For those behind the scenes, little inside baseball, I was telling my wife Jordan, obviously, I'm like, hey, I think it's time. Like, I think today is the day I need a new computer. And I'm like, you know what? I'm good. You can see right here, I got her. I won't show too much. I don't want somebody to pause that. I had her computer ready as a backup. I'm like, hey, I got everything going. Good to go. All right. Now that we've readjusted the computer situation, what I was going to say is Rick Stroud from the Tampa Bay Times had said about this year's Super Bowl, he goes, why does everyone keep saying the Bengals are playing with house money and they've got nothing to lose? They could lose the Super Bowl.
It's a pretty big loss. Pretty big loss.
You know, like, do you feel like we're almost undermining Cincinnati's accomplishment of getting there? And, you know, the David versus Goliath is too far. But even now, people are still like, well, it's okay if you lose the Super Bowl.
Well, you know, it's like if I'm anybody in Joe Burrow's vicinity, I'm playing back the tapes of Dan Marino. So Dan Marino, the Dolphins get there really early in his career, and he's just like, dude, this is going to happen every year. He never gets one. Like, he never gets one because they were like, okay, well, you know, it sucks we lost, but we could get back. I just feel like the Bengals can feel any kind of way they want to feel. The Rams, for the most part, have done this, right? Like, we fought our tooth off. We got here. We got smothered by an anaconda that were the New England Patriots. They know what it is to lose. And conversely, the quarterback on the other side of the field from Joe Burrow has toiled away in mediocrity at best in Detroit his entire career. He knows how hard it is to get to this thing. I think you can say whatever you want. The Bengals can feel any kind of way they want to feel. The Rams feel like this is do or die.
Aaron Donald defining how he stacks them against the great defensive players of all time. Von Miller leaving Denver, Odell Beckham Jr., Matthew Stafford, the legacies of those really good players, like you just mentioned, do or die, how we always look at those guys going forward for the rest of their careers, for sure. Do you want to get into some picks?
I do want to say, like, the only way I'm going to be okay with the Rams losing this game, considering the amount of money I can win, is the absolute just baby thumb-sucking meltdown that OBJ will have. Like, that's the only thing. Like, if like OBJ doesn't get the ball and they lose, I can just see him just pulling an Antonio Brown, just stripping, running off the field. That's the only thing that can make this better. I'm ready to pick if you are, because who knows how much longer this rinky-dink setup of ours is going to work.
Let me add one other thing about Odell. For those who haven't heard that storyline, at some point it might all change because a baby is on the way, right? There's rumors that the baby could come during the game, after the game. So that's another story like you and I have. Will Odell even be a part of the celebrations?
OB3.
Yeah, OB3. That's right. All right. So in the past, we used to do fantasy versus reality, where we talk fantasy versus wagering. How do we want to do this? Do we want to because here's the thing. Back at our playoff thing, you have 7 picks. I have 5.
Yeah.
You've got a 2-pick advantage. Whoever gets the most Super Bowl picks, likely has beer, go to the other person. So you get 7 picks. I will follow your 7 picks. We're going to go tit for tat, 1 for 1, back and forth. I feel like we should go 1 for 1.
Crap. There it is. I'm back. Yeah. I was gone.
No, you're okay. What do you want to do? Do you want to go back and forth? Do you want me to give your picks? How do you want to go through this?
Let's go back and forth. Let's go.
Okay.
So we're only going today, right? So I get the 2 extra. Whoever gets the most right today wins. The loser has to. What are we doing? A Duke's burger, or what are we doing here?
Ooh, I think we do something at the Hideaway. Maybe a big fat breakfast at the Hideaway.
What about one of those towering margaritas that like comes with so much food on top you don't have to order food?
Deal.
All right, done. So you want me to go first?
I will go first.
Okay.
Since I will go first. I want to do this bet off the top. I think we're both pretty convinced about our picks. I think this is going to be a wash, the first bet. The line's -4. You've got everything invested in the Rams, even on a money line victory. I think the Rams will win 21-10. I guess I haven't asked you about the spread, even though you think the Rams are going to blow them out. Are we both conceding that the first pick is both Rams -4?
Yes, absolutely. There's a part of me that kind of weirded out about it coming down a little bit. And then I remembered that the public almost always bets the underdog in the Super Bowl, especially a tighter like spread like this one. So the fact that it hasn't gone down more kind of emboldens me to believe that the Rams -4 is the right pick. So yes, we are now. It is now who can get the most right out of your remaining 4 and my remaining 6.
All right. How about over under 48.5?
I'm going over. I think I've heard a lot of people talk about the defenses and all this stuff. Later, you'll hear some of my rationale on why I think it's going to go over, but I think you're going to see a lot of points. I think this is going to be a shootout early. I really think that this is going to be one of those games where the first half you're like trying to catch your breath, and then the second half that defense of the Rams kicks in. So I'll take the over 48.5.
Good. We disagree. Under.
Woo!
I want to go screaming under. I think to be safe, I want to go 42.5. But I think it's going to be an early touchdown. McVay having 2 weeks to prep, and then after that, not a lot of action. So under. All right, we disagree on that one. That's good. Okay, very good. Here's my first prop bet.
Okay.
And if you don't like it, you can change it. I'll give you an audible. Here's the first prop bet I like. I like the opening kickoff to be a touchback. I've wagered on that. I think it's going deep. I know it's about 50-50 with people out there. I want the opening kickoff to be a touchback. Do you want to accept that bet, or do you want to do something
You
different?
can bet it. You can bet it at DraftKings. So I accept it as a wager. So Goz's first one, opening kickoff, a touchback. I think, hey, it's there. Take it. I'm going to go with a little more conventional. I had this gentleman picked as the MVP of the regular season. I think I was right. I just had the wrong time. Matthew Stafford will get MVP of the Super Bowl. Even money, plus 100. Give me Matthew Stafford. I think he's going to pepper the ball around. I think the voters are going to be stunned by the story of it all. I think he's going to have nice stats and play pretty clean football. So I think Matthew Stafford is the MVP, plus 100.
Ooh, I would have disagreed with that as well because I was going to go Aaron Donald on that. All right.
He's like plus 1,300 or something, so you have fun with that.
Over under, I have for our friends over at DraftKings, 3.5 total team sacks for the Rams.
Whew.
Over, baby. I'm going over. There you go. Total team sacks. I have over 3.5 on that one.
I like what you're doing so far. I really, really do. But I didn't do that one. So far I've given you a game, I've given you total, I've given you MVP. I'm gonna now give you over 285.5 passing yards, Matthew Stafford. Over passing yards, Matthew Stafford. I gotta look at the total number. I don't. Do you have it in front of you? Because I broke it down.
It was close to 285. No, you're not too far off on that.
It's like it might be 285, 284.5, but I'm going to go over. I think he crosses the 300 threshold. Matthew Stafford over passing yards.
Ooh, all right. I have this one. Joe Mixon under 92.5 combined rushing and receiving yards. Samaje Perine might get some carries. If the Bengals are losing in the second half, I don't think he's the option in the passing game. Under 92.5 combined rushing receiving for Mixon.
Okay, is that your last one, or do you have one more?
I think that's my last one. So I have.
That's
Let me go through again.
All right.
Rams spread under.
And then you clipped out. This is the worst one we've done.
I got you.
There it is.
Rams under. Joe Mixon under. Team sacks.
And then kickoff touchback.
Kickoff touchback.
Two more for you. I'm gonna go with my most shocking one last. I think the one that's gonna upset the most people last. So next is shortest touchdown. I'm going under 1.5 yards. I think that at some point there's a pass interference in the end zone. I think either Stafford or Burrow or somebody's gonna get that QB sneak in the end zone for 6. So I'm going to have an under 1.5 yard touchdown. That's one of my props.
Ooh, okay. All right. So you get one more then.
This is the one that I think locks up Matthew Stafford being MVP. Because you combine him passing for almost 300 yards, maybe more than 300 yards, and then Cooper Kupp under 104.5. And then that's where you get yourself a little Matthew Stafford MVP. Spreads the ball around. OBJ gets it. Everybody gets the ball. Cooper Kupp still has a nice game, maybe 90 yards, maybe 100, but not over 100. Touchdown or two. I do have a Cooper Kupp anytime touchdown out there somewhere as well. But Cooper Kupp under receiving yards.
Oh man, I like that one too.
Well, you have to. If you have the under, you have to like that one.
know,
If you have the under,
that's
you can't. You have no
exactly
choice but to like that one.
Oh man, I like that one so much too. You're thinking with Kupp too, right? Like overall, Cooper Kupp, I just feel like every week I'm like, he can't continue to put up these yards. Every week he can't continue to put up these yards. Then sure enough, he does. And then hopefully this one he doesn't. Especially if they have the lead and they're blowing the team out, they don't have to worry about it.
Well, you figure with what he's done this year, if he goes like 110, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns, a lot of catch and run, a lot of yards after catch, stuff like that, and then Stafford has a subpar game, maybe throws 215, 225 yards with a couple interceptions, and Kupp is like the reason they win. Kupp then gets the MVP. So for me to have my narrative of Stafford as MVP come through, Kupp has to have a very good game, but it has to be because of what Matthew Stafford has done, not in spite of it.
There it is.
Fine. So, quick, you want me to recap?
Yes.
All right. So I got the Rams. I'll lay the 4. I got over in the game. I have got Matthew Stafford is your MVP. I have got Cooper Kupp under yards. I've got Stafford over passing yards. Shortest touchdown is under 1.5 yards. And then I don't remember what the hell the last one was. I don't even remember anymore. I've had so many picks. I had to make so many picks. Did I make them all?
Cooper Kupp. Cooper
Kupp. Anytime touchdown? I don't know. Whatever. Take them all.
You had under receiving yards for Cooper Kupp.
Did I do that one too? I don't even remember. There's so many things. I mean, there's just a lot going on. This is having 7 picks. I mean, this is like when you normally during fantasy versus reality, that just meant that you got your ass kicked all year, and we had to make a bunch more picks so you had a chance to win. There wasn't just that I picked a better Super Bowl before the season started, which I did, and it's going to come to fruition today. That's what it's all about, my friend.
All you care, as much as that big drink's going to taste really good, all you care about is that Rams money line cover to cash in all those futures and all those bets you've been trailing throughout the entire season.
Guys, the weirdest thing about this, so since we've been able to bet all season, right? So we've been able to go bet at Rivers. Then all of a sudden we've got 4 mobile sites that we can bet through and all this stuff. So I made so many Rams bets through the season that here we are going today. I'm like, God, I feel like I haven't even bet on the game because I've got real cash on the table, but I spread it out over the course of the season. So it feels like I haven't even bet on this game yet. Like part of me wants to dump a huge number into my account just to put more money in the game. But realistically speaking, I'm going to clean up if the Rams win. If the Rams win and cover, I'm going to destroy. It's going to be awesome. So it's like I just have to keep reminding myself, I'm already in. I got squares over at the Hideaway. I got this going on over here. I got that over there. I just spread it all out. So it's not even phasing me for a change.
I got to figure out what my square numbers are, by the way, because I'm on 3 square boards this year, and 2 of the 3 I have 5. I'm like, 5 is the worst number. How do you get twice? How do you get a 5?
Nice little Rams 35 but whatever win.
That's right.
Look, the sun's shining on me now. You know how right I am. Even God himself is telling you I'm right.
You and I are going to be back on Tuesday for a Techies Tuesday.
It really depends how much I make on this Rams win. I might be.
You're heading off. You're not going to invest in Bitcoin like Drake.
All of a sudden I'm at a pool. What's up, bitches?
And then the following weekend could be Friday. Could be Saturday.
You just choke on something?
I did. I actually used the cough button right for this time. My microphone is. I wish I could spin it around. It's blinking red. Probably because I've unplugged it and plugged it in so many times. But yeah. So we will be recapping the game Tuesday from Techies Fire and Water Restoration, and then we'll have a weekend show for you coming up the following week. And then it's post-football. Who knows? Maybe we'll have some storylines about Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, draft, basketball, March Madness. How about Sienna getting a huge win? We got a lot of cool stuff coming up on the way for the future.
Dude, I whiffed on that, right? I was supposed to go to Sienna, Iona, and my buddy's kid was like, well, if you don't want to go, I could bring my friend. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'd rather stay home anyway.
What a game.
The one time I'm nice. See? Everybody was like, why are you such a prick? Because that's what happens when I'm nice.
I think I saw this on social media. Did you watch the Tucker Rule? Did you finish it? What'd you think?
Oh, yeah. I just thought it blatantly proved that I've been right all along and the Raiders got screwed. I just thought it blatantly proved it. And it always amazes me how big Tom Brady really is. Because when you see Woodson, that is a premier athlete. That's a guy like he's Like when aliens come down to the planet, they go, "You're not the same as that. Like you don't. That's different than you. Like that's somewhere between like a lion, a horse, and a person, and you're just a person." And like Brady's bigger than Woodson. Mind you, what Brady was still playing at this point, Woodson isn't. But like, it shocks me how big Brady is, how funny he can be, how much more I like him now that he's retired is probably the biggest shock. But like, yeah, no, it was clearly a fumble. The Raiders dynasty should have kicked off, and screw the Patriots.
And good for Ken Rogers, the director, because I know that's the second Raider film he's done. Remember, he always puts out a film right around this time for the Super Bowl. We've interviewed him before. I believe he was doing Four Falls of Buffalo. You and I watched together. I think we actually had the director's cut for that one a couple of Super Bowls ago. He also was the director who did the Al Davis documentary that some people were a little
Al
creeped
Davis
out about.
Pete Rozelle or whatever the hell it was.
Al Davis versus Ghosts, where they had like the talking CGI version of
and
Al
you say
Davis
people were freaked out. You were freaked out, not people. You were freaked out by it.
It was very weird. He redeemed himself. I think here's a hot take for you on the Super Bowl Sunday. That's the best 30 for 30 I've watched since The Last Dance.
Yeah. It would
COVID may have affected that. I haven't seen the Mets one. Did not catch my attention as much as this one did. I know they have a lot more coming this summer, and COVID stalled a lot. But The Last Dance was, I mean, it's like on a whole nother level of the other ones.
Yeah, but this just something about the picking of the scab this one did for me. Like it was great. It was, and I loved the way they did it. Like Woodson and Brady sitting there with the clickers, ready to run the film. Like that was great. Like having guys who have some form of a friendship relationship, who come down on opposite sides of it, be part of it. Phenomenal. That was great. But it hurt. It hurt because all I kept thinking about was like when they do. So spoiler alert: 3, 2, 1. When they show you like. They manipulate history and show you what would have happened if it had been called appropriately as a fumble. Like it hurt my heart. It hurt my heart. I was like, why is this happening to me? And then I was like, wait a minute, maybe we broke the curse by hiring the entire Patriots coaching staff this year. Like maybe we did what needed to be done by bringing in, Josh McDaniels, Mick, the wide receiver coach, and all and we stole Patrick Graham from the Giants, and now Rob Ryan's coming in, the old Raiders D coordinator. Like maybe, just maybe, we finally broke the curse and it's all over and the Patriots can go back to hell where they belong.
There's no better way to end our conversation on a Super Bowl Sunday than the Patriots go to hell and you going for some cash. Levack, thank you for doing this, man. I will catch you on Tuesday, my friend.
Yeah, I just got to figure out where the hell I am. Hey, I'm on green. Where? He left. He's on the car. I got to go. He's probably the chiropractor again. I'll talk to you, man.
Goodbye. There it goes. There goes Levack, our guy, Levack and Goz. Make sure to check out the show. Tuesdays and weekend releases for us. I got somebody sitting in the waiting room from No Credentials Required. There he is, Ryan McCarthy. Ryan McCarthy, again, No Credentials Required. Make sure you download that show. He's all over the place in the Capital Region. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us, man. You excited on the Super Bowl Sunday? How you feeling? How are things in the No Credentials studio right now?
Well, in the home office in Boston Spa, things are good. I agree with. I jumped in just as Levack said the Patriots can go back to hell where they belong, and I agree with that sentiment. So, yeah,
take that. That's right. It's a perfect way to join it. I'm going to open with the same question for everybody today because I feel like if you're a fan, if you're enjoying the game, you might be feeling something similar that the Gozilla Media people might be feeling as well. From when we found out it was going to be Rams-Bengals to where we are now, has anything changed here for you on a Super Bowl Sunday of how you're viewing this matchup?
Not really. When the matchups came out, I thought to myself, all right, this is going to be interesting. People are saying David versus Goliath, but when you actually look at the stats, the Bengals and the Rams actually scored the same amount of points in the regular season. So, a little fun fact for you all who are watching. But nothing's really changed for me at all. I expect a lot of points. There will be some defensive moments, I think, from the Rams, and I think people are starting to sleep on the Bengals defense. The last three, the Raiders did, the Titans certainly did, and the Chiefs, for most certainly, also slept on the Bengals defense. So I think it's going to come down to which defense comes out and makes the most positive plays, and it could be either team.
I'll give you this hope because you are a Jet fan. watching a guy like Joe Burrow, doesn't that give hope for not just Jet fans, but other NFL fans where you're like, if you get the right quarterback, if you get this thing right, you can turn it around that fast for a franchise.
Yeah. It certainly gives me a lot of hope, especially as someone who watched Zach Wilson's kind of be on the struggle bus in the beginning, taking a lot of sacks, throwing a lot of interceptions. Then he gets hurt against the Patriots, which, by the way, NFL did nothing when the referees did nothing. They didn't throw a flag when the guy got his leg rolled on by Matt Judon, but that's neither here nor there. But to see his development afterwards, not playing as some beat writers have said, hero ball, not having to make the big play every single time. I think getting hurt for him was the biggest blessing. Like Joe Burrow he got his leg rolled on by one of the Washington football team members last year, Chase Young.
Yes.
And he had his ACL, basically blew out his knee. And look where he is now. He's in the Super Bowl. So I think being hurt, Zach Wilson getting hurt was probably the biggest blessing for him, because he could watch the game from the sideline or watch up top with Mike LaFleur and see the game from a different perspective, and see what the other quarterbacks are doing and just learn from them. So that gives me hope for the future for the Jets, and fingers crossed, of course, but hope springs eternal. But I'm hoping with this quarterback, we'll get there sometime.
That's good stuff, man. I think Jet fans like yourself are hoping that it could happen. An example like this in the Super Bowl is so exciting for so many different fan bases with that happening. All right. I know Levack went through some prop bets, some wagers, some fun stuff like that. I know no credentials required doesn't get the people paid, but is there something that's exciting for you, whether it's an individual player performance, a Gatorade bet? Is any wager or prop bet getting Ryan McCarthy excited, or are you staying away from that and just enjoying the action on the field?
No, I've got a little tiny prop bets. I joined DraftKings, which, by the way, Gozilla Media, if you join DraftKings, promo code 518, get yourself $5 off.
Thank you for
$5.
The plug. While you're doing that, by the way, I'm adjusting my camera, so don't get startled here if I disconnect. Go ahead with what you're about to say.
I'm always startled. But one of the prop bets I just saw a few minutes ago, somebody said that from the last 4 or 5 Super Bowls, there's been multiple pass attempts by multiple players. It doesn't have to be specifically a quarterback. It could be a wide receiver or a tight end. What we've seen the last couple of Super Bowls, a position player other than a quarterback is throwing a pass. And the over-under on that, I guess right now, is 3.5 players. So you could certainly see a Cooper Kupp or a Jamar Chase or a Joe Mixon throw a football sometime in this game. I had to figure it's somewhere in the first half, where they're trying to get points after the before the half ends. That's a really interesting prop bet right there. And I guess you could say there's one prop bet I'm actually on right now on DraftKings of how many rushing yards Jamar Chase has. I think the over-under right now, I think, is 10.5 rushing yards. And I bet when I do, I only put like $10 in my bank at a time. So I bet $1 on that, and hopefully that pans out. I win like $1.50 or $1.75 from that. So, that's one bet I kind of had my eye on.
I like it. I'd like it. Any way that can help people make some cash. Look at this. Who is now the Puppy Bowl is usually the Super Bowl thing. That is a cat that has now made an appearance.
Yes, this is tag along every so often during when I do a live stream or when I do a video recording. He'll pop up and say hello, either to me or to the people. He just there we go.
For those Ted Lasso fans, I was hoping the name was going to be Cindy Clawford. But
no, we my sister and I we have 2 cats. They're both named after cookies. One's Oreo, she's black and white, of course. This one's tag along. So
the legendary Girl Scout cookie, the best Girl Scout cookie. Yes, very good.
Now he's moving the laptop because he's owning it now.
All right, so let's get the final score here from Ryan McCarthy. Let's get a score. Let's get the storyline. Let's hear what no credentials required is feeling for Super Bowl 56.
All right, so from the no credentials required home studio in Boston Spa, New York, I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to go with Bengals 34, Rams 31. I think the Rams got off to a hot start, just like in the game against the the Bengals will play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. Rams get off to a hot start. Joe Burrow gets the comeback. The Spurs a comeback. It goes under the wire. I think the Rams tie the score in the last couple of minutes of the game at 31. And I believe in Shooter. I believe in Shooter McPherson. I think he gets the game-winning field goal, and they basically build a statue to him outside of Brown's Stadium for the Bengals. And he's a legend. Oh my goodness!
There it is, the new Tiger King. The Bengals bring home their first Super Bowl. No credentials required. Make sure to download, subscribe, rate, and review. Check them out on Twitter. Plug the Twitter for me one time, Ryan.
All right, so I just recently changed the Twitter handle.
I knew
it's now at NoCreds REQ. So I'm on not only Gozilla Media, but I'm also with Belly Up Sports. So on 2 networks, I figured streamline it, make it easier for people to find. So at NoCreds REQ. It's also on Instagram and on Facebook. So check us out. You'll see show announcements. You'll get clips of the show. Also on YouTube. And this week's gonna be we're gonna have the drop in on Tuesday, and then maybe have an interview sometime later in the week. So check it out. Available on all podcast platforms. You know where to go.
Love it, dude. Appreciate the time. Tag along. All the other people who are there in the studio. Catch you later, man.
All right. Thanks, guys.
I want to know the best way to intro this next guy. I feel like this might be the best way to intro him with this comment. Our guy, Trav, who wrote in, sweat, tying your shoes. Same, man. Same. That is our guy, Trav, from the Trav and Rigney Show. Hello, my friend. Thank you for taking some time with us today.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
What's up, dude? Are you excited for Super Bowl 56? Are you feeling that vibe? There's football in the air where you're broadcasting from right now.
Football is not in the air because neither one of my children could care less. This is a wild inconvenience for them this whole day.
I feel like that line alone is just parenting for them. Wild inconvenience. This big guy's in my life telling me what to do constantly.
Yep.
Dad.
Yeah, every time I turn football on, it's like a nightmare scenario for my oldest. She's like, oh, come on, Dad, please. Not this again.
I'm going to give you the same question. Luckily, my son is sleeping right now. But then again, when he wakes up, I'm sure it'll be an inconvenience when he has to get in the car. I'll give you the same question I gave Levack and Ryan just a second ago. From 2 weeks ago until now, has anything changed for you, Trav, breaking down Rams, Bengals, whether it's a player, a performance, something, a storyline maybe you didn't think about 2 weeks ago, but you're thinking about now here on Super Bowl Sunday?
It definitely didn't change. I think I have more cemented my prediction in that I initially didn't like the 4-point line the Rams were getting there, or they're giving rather. And since then, I have definitely sort of rode the Bengals into. I think I sort of agree with Levack. I think he said earlier at the top here that this might be kind of a meltdown on the Rams part here. You might see the Bengals up by like 14 at the half.
Wait, the Bengals up by 14 and a half.
Oh, did he say the opposite? Because I was
the opposite. Because here's what Levack did. Levack preseason called Rams Chiefs, and he wagered on it. But he said he had the Rams as a Super Bowl winner all the way through. So what he would do is he'd throughout the season just sprinkle a little bit more on the Rams, So now he's sitting with the future ticket plus a few other bets sitting right there. So his heart is in it for the Rams, even though he's a Raider fan. But I think that plus his matchup. So his theory is the opposite for you. Now, knowing that, does that change your mind?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I thought I heard him say the Bengals. That's why when he was saying it, I was sort of doing some stuff in the kitchen. And I'm like, wow, actually, we agree on something. I must have missed the part where he said the Rams. But I don't know. I think that there's so much momentum on the Bengals here. I understand that this is what I was saying to Rigney. It's like, this feels like almost like a movie scenario, right? This is a story about the Bengals, and the Rams are just sort of the supporting cast. This is of the Bengals show, and I fully expect this whole night to end with Burrow holding that Lombardi.
Ooh, all right. Another prediction here for the Bengals. So we're 2 for 2 right now. You and Ryan have the Bengals. Levack and I have the Rams. Now, for those who don't know, for this is the first time maybe seeing Trav from the Trav and Rigney Show, you're an Eagles fan. You've gone just a few seasons ago with your team winning the Super Bowl. Let's sit at the quarterback position. I know it's maybe a stretch here with this comparison, but your team had a new quarterback under center with Nick Foles when Carson Wentz got injured. For the Rams, they have a new quarterback in season 1 with Matthew Stafford now taking over. That easy, huh? Like if you just switch up the quarterback, it feels like the confidence for Rams fans, and maybe you felt this way as an Eagle fan, even though a little bit different, that if you have faith in that guy who's calling the plays and making plays, you can go deep and win it.
Yeah, I can remember real vividly, like when Carson Wentz went down, there was still a week left in the regular season. And Nick Foles came in and he beat up on the Giants. And nobody really was like, well, he played well, but going into the playoffs, this is going to be a nightmare for the Eagles. And then and we had the first round bye, and then we beat the Falcons there, and that was sort of barely. And then we rolled into Minnesota where the Super Bowl was, and Nick Foles had himself a day. And I was like, we might actually do this here. And I don't want to say it was an upgrade from Carson Wentz because he had such a good year, but to me, Matt Stafford is wildly an upgrade over Jared Goff. So it's not a shocker that the Rams are where they are, considering that they blow all of their picks on players that get them here, but they have no draft capital moving forward. So it's like they paid the price. I fully expect them to be here, and they definitely upgraded a quarterback. So it's not a shocker to me, really.
I love it. I love their theory for the Rams. Who cares about next season? Just go all in. We'll figure it out later. It's very fantasy
about it.
Right. It's very fantasy football like we'll have a season next year. We'll figure it out when we get there. Guys will get hurt. We'll just piece it together as the season goes through. You can go either way with this. You can go maybe a prop bet for a player you like in fantasy, those over-unders, maybe something within the game. Do you have a wager, 2, maybe even 3 wagers you're looking at in this game that you might be investing in, thanks to our friends over at DraftKings?
Yeah. So I have a couple here, ones that I've been banging the drum for all week. One of which is Akers under 16.5 carries. Because McVay had said they're going to do a lot more of a split backfield type of deal, and they're getting some pieces back in Henderson too. So I fully expect Akers to not get that full workload. I've been banging the drum all season on the over for receptions for Cooper Kupp. You are a fool if you ever go under on receptions for Cooper Kupp. 8.5, that line at 8.5 is a gimme. He's going to get at least 10, at least. And then I saw it earlier. It was Matt Stafford. I'm taking the over on 250 yards passing, which I also felt like was a gimme.
Ooh, so Levack had that same one on Stafford as well. The Cooper Kupp thing, I'll go back to this just in case somebody might have missed it earlier. The Cooper Kupp thing, I feel like every week, no matter what his number is, my mind always goes to, yeah, but he's the best receiver. Like, he can't keep hitting these high numbers, can he? Like, these numbers are too high. He hits them. He always does it consistently. He always hits those numbers. Crazy to think about it, dude.
I just blew $40 on the coin toss. If I'm being totally honest with you, just chips on the table. I had $49 left in my app, and I was like, all right, one more bet, I'm done. And I was like, the first one that popped up was coin toss. I'm like, 49.85 on the tails. Give it to me.
Oh, the tails. Now, wait a second. In the playoffs, we've seen, I believe, 3 straight heads. There was the heads and Bills Chiefs. The other overtime game, which I'm blanking on right now, was also a heads. So you went tails, though. Tails never fails is the theory here.
Yeah, tails never. I always go tails, and I feel like I'm never disappointed, but I'm going tails. I feel it in my soul. I'm going tails.
I like it, dude. All right, so give us a little scoop. The Trav and Rigney show. I know your guys' scheduling and episode releases have changed a little bit now that we're heading to post-football season. When can people find out when the episodes are released? What can people expect when they listen to the Trav and Rigney show, which you know I listen to all the time, and I text you at 11 o'clock at night laughing at?
Yeah, because we're a bunch of clowns, and we have to warn you ahead of time with some of the stupid things we start the show with. So we gone back to two episodes a week now because football's winding down, and football is that's our meat and potatoes, right? So once football winds down, we sort of cool it a little bit. We find that most people who listen to us are listening because they love our hilarious football takes and not our brilliant football acumen. So we're dialing it back to 2 episodes a week, and you will catch those episodes Wednesdays and Fridays, which means we'll be sending you the uncut, raw, ridiculous versions Tuesdays and Thursday nights to listen through and shame us for.
There was a folder I had, and I wish I could share my screen right now. There was a folder I had that just said Trav and Rigney dumb stuff. And I was slowly throughout just saving the stuff. And then you guys be like, Goz will edit that out. Goz will. And then I'll just come to find I like leaving it in now. I think it's just as funny leaving it in now when you guys don't give me the heads up, which is, you guys do a great
Oh yeah,
job,
because
man.
sometimes we forget. We start shows so ridiculous, and we forget of some of the nonsense that comes out of our mouths until after we've sent it, and then it's the next morning, and you're like, "Oh, I can't believe you guys said this." I'm like, "Oh crap, we were supposed to tell him we said that."
All right, one final score, just in case somebody just tuned in right now or people might have missed it. Final score, who wins it? Super Bowl 56.
I'm actually gonna go Bengals 34, Rams 31. Noted here that is the quote unquote predicted Simpsons score, which impacted the line for the exacta scores you could pick. If you look at all the exacta scores you could pick, the Rams or the Bengals 34, Rams 31 is plus 8,000, and everything else is plus 12, 14, 15,000 because so many people took it because of the Simpsons show.
Ooh.
So that changed because of that.
I gotta find the exacta bet on my phone. I have not found that on here. Ooh.
Yeah, they have pretty much every option, and it doesn't hurt to throw $1 on each of them because they pay out like $600 if you hit.
I might shoot you a text after this to make sure I did that right.
I have a bunch. I'll show you.
All right, dude. Well, appreciate you spending some time, man. Enjoy
Thanks
the
for
Super
having me,
Bowl
guys.
with the family, and talk again soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Have a good one. Thanks.
There he goes. Trav from the Trav and Rigney Show right now, getting ready for the big game, Super Bowl 56. We've got more guests coming from Gozilla Media on the way. Our guy Taylor from Sportz with the Z and T is scheduled to join us. We've got our guy Jimmy and Joe from Football on the Know. Sean Martin's going to join us as well from M&M&M across the board. If you want some picks, look at my hair, by the way. Look at this. Look at this hair. I've moved over from computer to computer to computer. We've done 3 different hookups so far in this show. It looks like we're standard right now, so we're looking good. But if you want to write into the show like our guy Brian just did, you can, whether you're watching on Twitter or YouTube, you got some questions you want to get answered, leave your comments there. Brian, my guy, wrote, "What's good, guys? The champ is here." He is a Buffalo Bills fan. He wanted his Bills to be here. He wanted it to happen. Unfortunately, our guy, here's what I'll tell my guy Brian. Think about this, okay? The Super Bowl next year is in Arizona. And if you saw the Phoenix Open cuts, could you imagine the Bills Mafia at the Phoenix Open next year before the Super Bowl? Could you imagine what that would be? Just think about that, man. My guy Sean. Hey, Sean, if you're watching, you can hop in right now. You can click the link, cut right line. I don't mind. He goes, hair is overrated. It's very true, man. I was checking out my hair earlier today. I'm like, you know what? I don't know how much more time I got. I don't know how much I got left with this thing. But Super Bowl 56 is coming your way tonight. Enjoy the game, all that good stuff. And again, if you've already listened to some past interviews, don't forget, if you enjoy Gozilla Media, download, subscribe, rate, and review. That's what we always hope you can do. Maybe it's your first time hearing some of our hosts here on Gozilla Media. That's totally cool. That's fine. Just make sure it's a part of your listening habit. Whether it's Spotify, whether it's Apple, whatever it might be, leave a review. Give that first episode a shot. Have those automatic downloads. The top right corner of your phone can always help out. So then when you're scrolling through and looking for a podcast to listen to, you're going to have the Gozilla Media podcast pop up for you. So that can always work for you. If you missed it earlier in the show, quick little recap here. We've had Trav from Trav and Rigney join us. We've had our guy Levack from Levack and Goz join us. We've had Ryan McCarthy join us. And we've got 2 picks for the Bengals, 2 picks for the Rams. 2 picks for the Bengals, 2 picks for the Rams. The most popular bet so far of the prop bets has been the over for Matthew Stafford. The Matthew Stafford passing yards prop bet has been the one that has been the most used so far. So if you're looking to find that perfect bet for yourself, those are the things we're looking at right now. We'll see if somebody later on here is going to break the tie and be the one to say, you know what? Okay, it's 3-2 now. It's 3-4 right now. It's 5-2. I'm curious to see what the rest of the Gozilla Media guys decide to do with their picks going forward. So don't forget, live shows coming up here in February. We are Techies Tuesday. Techies Fire and Water Restoration, your best way back to normal. tefirewater.com. That guys will be broadcasting live there Tuesday, 4:30 to 6. So check out that show. We got a lot of cool things coming up in store for March as well. We know for some people, March Madness really starts the day after the Super Bowl. So get ready for that. And if you want a complete schedule of all the live shows that are scheduled throughout 2022. That's right, the whole 2022 schedule. GozillaMedia.com. No updates yet as we're recording this right around 2:45. We're live right now at 2:45 about the status of Odell Beckham Jr. and the soon-to-be baby. New York Giant fan, New York sports fan in general, how are you feeling today about potentially the former Giant getting his first Super Bowl? I can't tell you how many times I was put to exhaustion, right? About how often I had to deal with Odell Beckham Jr. takes over the past few years of he's the reason why they're losing. He's the reason why the Giants stink. They got to get rid of him. But now all of a sudden, Odell Beckham Jr. is just, 60 minutes away from being home a Super Bowl championship if he's on the field, if he's not stepping out for his baby or anything else. New York sports fan, do you feel slighted, upset? Do you not like this Super Bowl? At least in the past, New York sports fan could always root against somebody in the Super Bowl. Look, we get it. The Giants have won there too. We all knew who they're rooting for in that game. The Bills, it would have been great if the Bills were in this one, as our guy Brian just pointed out a few minutes ago. But in the past, you always got to root against Tom Brady. You always got to see Tom Brady and say, like, nah, anybody but Brady. So we'll find out what happens. We've got our pal here, Sean Martin from the M&M&M Across the Board podcast, my friend. How are you? Thanks for stopping by here on this wonderful few hours before the.
I'm doing awesome. I'm taking a break. My 5-year-olds are right behind me, yucking it up. Sorry for the noise. Guys, give me 1 second. I'm having some audio issues. Guys, sorry to interrupt. Let me drop off. I can't hear you. It's all static. I'll drop out and come back. Not working. I'll keep trying.
Some comments in the. Leave some comments.
Can you hear me okay? I'm getting all static, my friend. I'll keep trying.
All right, I can't hear you at all. There we go. That's better.
You hear me, my friend?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, man.
Good.
Let's hear your Super Bowl. Well, let's go with this. The first question I keep giving everybody over the course of this hour-long show here.
All right.
Anything changed for you over the past 2 weeks involved in the Super Bowl when it first happened till now?
Not really. I mean, you hear the stories from both sides. I think one surprise that I have is how many people are on board with the Bengals. There's a lot of Bengal love going on right now. And it's kind of funny. And I don't think it's exactly that people hate the Rams or anything, but they're just so enthralled into this story about these young players, Joe Burrow and guys, that they're ready to go. I think everybody's just amped up and on board with this storyline.
Now, you bring that up. That's interesting. Is it because you've doubted the Bengals all season? Is it because maybe they're just a new kid on the block? What surprises you about that? Or maybe it kind of feels like your old Giants from back in the day that everyone felt like the Patriots are going to be there, but nobody gave this Bengals team a shot to be there.
Right. Yeah. And maybe that is, again, because the Bengals were kind of that team with me throughout the season. Once I kind of thought there was something, they would let me down and then show me that they weren't. And then all of a sudden, then I'm jumping, on board, or if I'm bailing off, I'm like, no, they're just not. Then they turn around and do something else. So for me, I just thought they're a team that was up and coming. Nice story this year, but maybe a year early, kind of premature on this run. But they're living the moment and they're performing right now. And as far as everybody, jumping on and becoming like a big supporter of this team right now, I think that just surprises me just because the personnel that the Rams have and they've already been to this big game before. Sean McVay has shown that he can hang with the big boys and they seem more ready. So I'm just kind of thrown a little bit that more people are on board with the underdog here.
All right, now I wonder if it's a second tease you're giving me here. Not only that people are on board with the underdog, but maybe you are going to be the one to break this tie here, because right now we've got 2 picks for the Bengals. Trav and Ryan McCarthy both had that.
Mm-hmm.
Levack and I have both had Rams as our pick.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Sean Martin just put his pick in through. I see Cincy 30-28 on a late McPherson field goal. So are you going to go Cincy, or are you going with the Rams to make it a 3-3 tie? What are we looking at over the overall Super Bowl pick for you?
I think that's a funny thing, too, about how many people are on board with McPherson here. If you remember back early in the season, he played that game with the Green Bay Packers where he went back and forth missing field goals, and then they went toe-to-toe with field goals back and forth into that overtime. And just came up short on that game barely. So for him to turn it into this Cinderella story himself too, is so many people are seeing McPherson being the game-winning kicker in this game too as well, I think is pretty appealing. Joe went with the Bengals, but he's not here. I don't think he'll make it today. So I think I will be your tiebreaker, and I'm going with the Rams on this one. I think experience matters, and Sean McVay's been there. I think the moment was too big the first time, though, because you saw when he met up with Bill Belichick at the center field here, at the midfield before the game, and was absolutely enthralled with this guy. He's like, oh, this is guy who's been my mentor, my type of guy, idolized. Is Bill Belichick on the other side? And you saw in that game the first time that he met against the Patriots, the defense played tough, and they had the Patriots on the line, but just McVay, he was just lost to where he even gave up all duties of even being able to outwit Bill Belichick to where remember they would rush to the line last second, not even get an opportunity to call an audible. And Jared Goff was just sitting there holding the ball and just stuck. So I think he learned from that now. And I think now going against somebody that's not as intimidating and he's had that experience, I think that's going to matter this time.
Is there one player, one wager, one prop bet? That's been our favorite thing we've been talking about today, is that whether it's a fantasy football themed one or just something involving the game, is there a wager or prop bet that you're going to be maybe sprinkling some cash on?
No, I am not really much of a bettor. I'm more of a horses kind of guy. If you want to go to, the track and stuff like that, I'm your guy. I mean, I know how to pick them. I look at the jockeys where they're racing on, what type of, is it turf? Is it, grass, the, muddy situations, everything. I could do that. I could break that all down, but gambling, I could do football picks, and that's what Joe and I do. We did have the drinking wager throughout the season. We've done it the past 4 years now. I've beat them 3 years in a row, and now this season, it's the first time I lost, so I will be drinking. Hold on. This thing, it is shaped like a football. It's just a little smaller than a football, full of alcohol. Our next show, this thing, Joe had to do it the last 3 years. Like I said, it gets to be a lot of fun. It should be interesting. So that'll be fun there. But as far as the big game, I'm not much of a gambler there and stuff. And what's funny is when my family watches me watch the game, they see me rooting or saying something about one team, and then I'll go around right back onto the other team and say, "Oh no, why did you do that?" And they're like, "Well, who do you want to win this game?" I said, "I want this game." They're like, "Then why are you telling these guys they should do this?" I'm like, I just see it from both sides. I can't help it. I'm like, these guys should be doing this. These guys should be doing that. I just can't help it. I have to break it down every game.
It's amazing. I was going to say, it probably puts you more at ease when you're not wagering on the game. But then again, you've got such commitment and love for football, though, that it's you can't. It's like a referee almost at some points. You see it from both angles.
That's why I stopped fantasy. I stopped fantasy because it became too much of an emotional thing for me, because I would watch my Giants or whoever and feel these feelings. But then how can I root for a player on one side of the field and then another player on the other side and say, "Oh, hurry up. Well, you kick this field goal, or this guy get this many yards, but don't score right here." It just seems like a big thing that I don't want to get involved with. It's too emotional. So I quit the whole fantasy game as well, too, just about. So.
All right, so you plugged the soon-to-be new Football on the Nose show that's coming out. For those who might be listening to you for the first time, give it a plug. Tell them where they can find it. And again, one more time, where they can watch live the bet paid off this upcoming week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. On Facebook. Our Facebook is our biggest market. That's where we started off. So it's Football on the Nose show is our group. Join the group. It's absolutely, check it out. It's all public group, so you don't have to be, invited and all this other stuff. So Football on the Nose show. And the same name for our YouTube as well, Football on the Nose show. Just search us there, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, let you know whenever we go live, and FB_no on Twitter too. And if you are on Twitch too, same thing, Football on the Nose show. Just search that through there, you'll find it, and that's where you'll see it. And this Wednesday we go live around 8:30ish, and that'll be a lot of fun there.
Jimmy, appreciate the time, man. Keep up the great work. One more time, get you out on it. Unless you change over the last 4 minutes, one more time on that final score and who wins Super Bowl 56.
Oh, boy. All right, everybody's saying 33, 34. 30. Hey, I'm going to say that's going to be high scoring. So I'm going to go with 37-34 Rams.
Ooh, okay.
How about that? I'm saying it's going to get nasty. I think it's going to get nasty. So
I like it, man.
And if you guys said MVP already, I'm saying Odell Beckham Jr. MVP.
Whoa,
Boom.
Odell, the MVP.
Odell.
Wait a second.
Again.
I was going to toss to Sean here. You're a Giant fan. How does that make you feel if a former Giant's the MVP of the Super Bowl? What?
Well, this is what I was going to bring up too, is, this game has so many different factors with other teams now as well. New York Giants fans have to feel really awkward in this one. Odell Beckham Jr. back there to potentially get a ring, which is annoying. On the other side, you have Eli Apple for the Cincinnati Bengals. Just shoot me right now if he gets a ring. And then the whole story that came out 6 days ago about Andrew Whitworth wanting to come play with the Giants because he's friends with Eli Manning. And, Jerry Reese said, no, we're good with Eric Flowers. Oh my goodness. It just rubs it all in. Giants fans have to be hurt in this whole one. And I'm just going to watch the game for what it is.
if you're a Giant fan, you can hit Jimmy on those social media platforms and he'll give you one of those big things of alcohol to watch the Super Bowl with just hours before if you're a Giant fan.
Absolutely.
All right, my friend. Thank you for doing this, man. Keep up the great work. Looking forward to watching this week's episode.
No problem. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the show, everybody.
Jimmy from Football on the Know. We're going to give it one more shot here with our pal Sean Martin. Let's see if this is going to work. Are we in?
We're in.
Let's go. All right, man. So you get to close this out today, which is exciting because how the schedule's worked out and everything. You've got to listen to a few picks, I believe. What's your overall takeaway so far? Hello, hey. Hi, are you excited for the Super Bowl?
Who's going to win today?
I want Tiger to win.
The Bengals.
All right, the Tigers. I like it.
Okay, let's add it up. I like the Bengals. Here's why. I think the Rams are a better team, and the Bengals probably have to have a little more go right for them than the Rams do. I just think Joe Burrow is special, and he's everything people thought he was going to be, and I think he's going to elevate them. The key thing for them, sorry. The key thing for them is they're going to have to run. I put in the chat, I like the mix in over 29.5 receiving yards. They're going to have to slow down that pass rush, right? They can't give up 9 sacks and win today. So I think to do that, I think you're going to see screen passes, some misdirection plays. I think they'll figure it out. And then they'll be able to take their shots. But I think Burrow's elite. And these guys are in football mode already with the tackling behind me.
It's all good. I like it. But here's the thing. Like you mentioned Burrow and all that. Similar to you going against the pass rush right now from your kids. It's going to be Burrow going up against Aaron Donald and Von Miller and everybody else. That seems to be the key of the game. That if Burrow can get that ball out of his hands quick enough, that's the whole thing. Like Cincinnati can make adjustments like they did against Mahomes last week.
Yeah, and the thing with the Bengals, they fell behind 21-3, and my first thought was, okay, you know what? They had a good run. They won their first playoff game in 31 years, their first road playoff game, and they just met their match, but they really, really hunkered down in that, and then it took away Mahomes, took away all his weapons, and for them to come back, that tells me this is more than just kind of a feel-good story. I think they believe, and they can get after the quarterback too. And I really learned that when they beat the Raiders. They can rush you with 3, they'll send 5, and with damaging effects, and they can cover in the background. It was funny listening. I just joined the Football on the Know Facebook group as I was waiting. Yeah, Eli Apple, where'd he come from? Right, the guy's been a train wreck his whole career, but they're playing really good football. And I'm still the Matt Stafford thing. On our show, I've compared him to Jeff George throughout the year. He's kind of proved me wrong the last couple of weeks. I got to see it. I hope, if he wins it, good for him. I don't have an axe to grind in this game. I just want to see a good game. I want to see a close game. And what I said on our show is I want to see one of these quarterbacks with 2 minutes to go have a chance to become a legend and make that play and win a Super Bowl, or somebody's going to step up and have that moment today. But I hope Stafford or Burrow, one of them gets that chance. We get a close game, and like we've had throughout the playoffs.
I like when my notes for the interviews today match what somebody already had said, which is exactly that point you had there about the M&M&M across the board, Pugsley's Pit, the double podcast here on Gozilla Media. That point right there. Look, you go back to past Super Bowls, Giants and Patriots, Cardinals and Steelers. We can run through Titans and Rams. Even if you didn't have a dog in those fights, you remember those moments of Kevin Dyson stretching his arm out, Mario Manningham, Santonio Holmes. That's what's special. It's a cool tie-in here, too, with your boys. Like, if they're old enough maybe to remember a remarkable Super Bowl, all of a sudden they become football fans for life or sports fans for life because they remember how great these games can be.
You're right. My first Super Bowl was Super Bowl 7 when the Dolphins pitched that perfect season. And I remember that. That's what I remember about it. They went unbeaten. That was my first go around with it. So yeah, these games are special because somebody is going to be a legend today, and let's hope not. Somebody may be remembered for something they don't care for. Jackie Smith in '78 when he dropped the pass against Pittsburgh and things like that. So that's part of it. That's just part of the sports thing. But yeah, that's what I look for in games like this. It's been 38 years since the Raiders have been, so I got to find something to look forward to on these Super Bowl Sundays.
That's right. So we've already got your pick. You've gone on record. Cincinnati 30, LA 28. You like to mix and over receiving yards. Anything else in this Super Bowl, whether it be players, matchups, announcers, commercials, anything else that Sean Martin's got an eye on, you've got that writer's mind. You find those storylines. Anything else that's jumping out to you for this big game just hours away?
You know what? To me, it's Joe Burrow. It's the obvious one. He's the first, could be the first quarterback ever to win a Heisman, a national title, and a Super Bowl, and he could do it in 3 years. I mean, that's different sort of stuff. But either way, either quarterback who wins, either Burrow becomes an instant legend in his second year in the league, or Matt Stafford, one, shows just how bad Detroit might have been all these years, but it gives him a chance too. And you know, it's retribution. Comeback, Odell Beckham. You know, I love Cooper Kupp. It's just should be a fun game to watch. You know, I think the big matchup, I think Jamar Chase is going to wear out Jalen Ramsey a little bit over 4 quarters.
I like it. It's going to be exciting. I'm hoping for what you said. We get a cool, fun game. I don't think it's going to happen, but my heart roots for that. My head doesn't tell me that. My heart roots for that. Pugsley's Pit, released on Mondays, M&M Across the Board podcast. Midweek, we'll say, with all the different things that change in the professional sports journalists and anchors' lives. Check them out. Download, subscribe, rate, and review, all those good things. Sean, you are a busy man. You're covering hockey one day, high school sports another day, podcast another day, watching the kids another. Thank you for carving out some time for us, man. Enjoy the Super Bowl tonight.
Thanks for having me. Sorry for the glitch.
No, it's all good. I'll catch you later, man. I thought Sean was going to close it out. We have one more guest who's hopping in with us right now. How about Joe from Football in the Know? We got Jimmy.
What's going on?
What's up? You got the Raider gear and full tab right there, man.
Buddy.
We got to get your take on the big game here. Now, I know you heard your co-host's take. I'm going to open with one more time here. From when we found out it was Bengals-Rams until now, has anything changed? Do you wake up with this dream, this premonition of what's going to happen today, this morning?
Yeah, you know, a lot has changed, actually. Like, you take it back to week 1 into now, and you see what two teams are here at the big dance. A lot of people did speculate that the Rams were going to be here, and rightfully so. I mean, they put everything they could, right? They pushed all the chips to the center of the table and said, hey, we're going all out this year. We're going to trade for Stafford. We're going to, hey, what? The Browns cut OBJ? Are you kidding me? Let's bring him in. You know, because we had a loss of Robert Woods, tore his ACL. Nobody really knew about it. And then here's OBJ sitting out there in free agency, you know, so to speak. They signed him, replaced Woods, and you know, and then they pull off a trade to get Von Miller to help with that pass rush. A little bit more, a little bit extra. And with all these cornerstones on the defense for the Rams, it definitely makes it tougher for whoever they were going to face. So their offense gets on track down the stretch in the playoffs. And then you got the other team, the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't care who you are. There's no way you thought the Bengals were going to make it to the Super Bowl this year. Not this year. Thought, just like I agree with my colleague before, a little premature, maybe by a year. We didn't expect them to be here. We saw the pieces get put in place. We saw how much better they were starting to become. And wow, a lot of surprises, a lot of upsets by the Bengals to get them here. Joe Burrow, very young team on offense, and they're just running all cylinders right now.
I like to point out, by the way, this is now the third Raider fan who has joined the show today. We had Sean, who's a Raider fan. That's right, Levack.
We roll thick.
Joe's a Raider fan here too. Here's the thing that's interesting, though, and you're going to be the first one against this. We've had the Rams, the 49ers, the Raiders. I hope I'm not missing on one here. Oh, the Seahawks. We've seen a lot of West Coast football teams have success over the last 10 to 15 years to get to this big game and everything else. We got an 84-degree temperature. We've got a team playing in their home state we haven't even mentioned. I know it's usually East Coast bias with us guys in New York, but it seems like a lot of things are working in that West Coast team's favor right there for the Rams.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you got that warm weather and everything. And those teams, just like anybody else in the NFL, there's always a team improving. You know what I mean? There's always throughout every offseason, they're improving. Look at Buffalo. Where was Buffalo, 3-4 years ago? They were not anywhere close. They still had to add more pieces. They had to find the next quarterback because that wasn't working out. So, here we are, very competitive team now. This past season, they were really starting to push and heavily favored. You had the AFC East. to not only come out as division winners, but also to maybe push for that Super Bowl, but they fell short. So you see this year to year where there's these so-called surprise teams that come out of nowhere, like the Bengals. Nobody expected this, but it happens every single season. Teams get better every single year for the most part. I'm really sorry about the Jets, though. Jets and Detroit Lions.
Poor Ryan. That's right.
Really, really sorry for you guys out there, but it will get better. It might take, 10, 15 years, but it'll get better.
Give me a name here, whether it be a Ram or a Bengal. Offensive, defensive, hell, you want to go special teams? Give me a name that when we're talking about this on Monday, when Football on the Nose back this upcoming week, that all of a sudden this was a name that maybe nobody was talking about, but you guys had it hours before kickoff. Rather than Stafford or Burrow, any other name that you think might become a storyline name today?
Joe Mixon. I think Joe Mixon, he doesn't get enough credit for being with his running ability behind his team. Now, listen, we all know that the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line is not stout. They're not one of the best offensive lines. They're kind of subpar, average type of line. But Joe Mixon's talent, if they are able to run the football or do it a little bit differently, the Bengals could throw a wrinkle here, and instead of trying to run heavily into that D line of the Rams, they could sprinkle in a little dump off here to Mixon, let him run with it, just like he did in the last playoff game. They kind of dumped it off to him to the outside and let him run. So it's like they could sprinkle those plays in for Joe Mixon, but I think Joe Mixon will be a big time contributor in the Super Bowl.
All right, so you get the ultimate finish here because our guy Cam on the comments wrote in his pick. He likes the Rams. Jimmy liked the Rams.
Yep.
Sean liked the Bengals. I think if my math adds up here correct, it was a tie. We got a Rams pick. We got a Bengals pick. So it's back to being a tie. So you, Joe from Football on the Know, 4-4, you get the deciding factor of where the Gozilla Media picks are going. This is for it. Give us a score and give us the winner of Super Bowl 56 and why.
Okay, so this game, I don't think it's going to be a major blowout either way. I feel like I know the favorite is the Rams. The favorite, everyone's expecting the Rams to kind of almost walk over the Bengals. But listen, I've been extremely impressed by what the Bengals have been able to accomplish against teams like, the number 2 seed in the Chiefs, in Kansas City, in playoff atmosphere. And to be able to come away from that game and win, I thought they were dead in that game. I didn't think they had stood a chance. And then they beat also the Titans, who happened to be the number 1 seed. So to me, it shows they've overcome a lot. So if you're able to do that, especially as of a team as they are, I don't think there's any kind of limit for this team. I think they go into the Super Bowl and everyone's talking about the Rams, but why not Cincinnati? Why not Who Dey Bengals? So I'm going to go with the Bengals in this one. I like what they do on offense. It's going to be tough for the Rams defense as well to try to defend against all these weapons that they have. They do such a good job offensively. And they don't, Zach Taylor doesn't get enough credit for that either. So defensively, the Bengals are kind of underrated. I feel like they might be able to do enough to kind of slow down. Don't think they're going to stop the Rams on offense, but maybe enough to slow them down. And I just think overall this is going to be a really close game, but I got the edge with the Bengals. I think the Bengals end up winning it in the end. I'm going to say 27-24.
Ooh, 27-24. All right, we've had basically a split house. Cincinnati looks to be walking off this show with the edge going to the big game. Football on the Know. Check them out this upcoming week. A big old thing of alcohol is going to be consumed.
Yes, sir.
Luckily, Northeastern Insurance has us covered with our insurance here on Gozilla Media. Things go wrong. Guys, enjoy the game. Make sure everybody's following guys on social media, podcast, leave a review, all that good stuff. We're going to sign off here. Enjoy Super Bowl 56. Looking forward to recapping it all with you again next week. Catch you guys later.
See ya.